Hello once again, everybody. It's Sydney, and welcome to my reading log for March of 2026. Before I get started, if y'all want to let me know anything y'all read in the comments below, anything you really enjoyed, anything new you picked up that you just read a little bit of, I'd really appreciate that. So, starting off with Kodansha, we've got Witch Hat Atelier Volume 14 by Kamome Shirahama. And in this volume, we are continuing the conflict with the eel sort of thing that's basically causing havoc on this magic festival, and Coco is taking a very major role in trying to mitigate the disaster that's going on. It's a really great read, and I am enjoying the anime, even though I've only watched like one episode. Then we've got Wistoria Wand and Sword Volume 11, and we are continuing the search for the traitor, seeing how that interaction is going with all the different sub-factions inside of the tower, trying to figure out who potentially could be multiple even traitor or traitors. You're getting to see a lot of these interpersonal dynamics explored through the idea of figuring out who a traitor is, and it's really interesting, and I do really enjoy Wistoria so far. I hope for a second season. Then we've got Rent a Girlfriend Volume 35 by Reiji Miyajima. And I am starting to get the fatigue with Rent a Girlfriend. I loved the series up until the movie arc, but after the movie arc, it started just kind of plateauing and then kind of falling a bit downhill. It seems like the main character has been flanderized a bit and been made even more openly. Like, previously he was perverted, but for the most part, he kept his perversions inward and didn't project them outward, like through words or through actions. But it seems like he's projecting them more outward now. Maybe I'm just looking at it with a finer lens, and that's why I'm seeing the issue. But anyways, we're continuing the shared house arc this volume. Not really too much happened to progress things, honestly. We do see a little bit of Chiharu with the blonde-haired ex-girlfriend in this volume. But yeah, I'm hoping it gets better, but I've heard it gets worse, so that's great. The last Kodansha I read was The Dashing Zaddy and His Icy Protege, Volume 4. I actually just read the 5th volume a couple days ago with which will be in my next month's video. I guess technically this month, because I fell so far behind. But anyways, in this volume, they are finally realizing their feelings for each other, both of them. It is a bit of miscommunication and not truly understanding each other, but I think it was handled pretty well, and I like how we're exploring the dynamics of their own inadequacies, though that might be a little more in the 5th volume. But this is a fantastic BL so far, and it's ending on the 6th volume, so it's not terribly long. Then we've got Natsume Wants to Blossom by my favorite, or one of my favorite BL artists, Mamita. I'm not going to be able to flip through this because it's explicit. We get kind of what I've noticed happening a lot with these sequels to popular BL series, where the 2nd volume includes some miscommunication and a potential second love interest that actually isn't a love interest, but is just there to kind of like stir the pot. I believe that was... Yes, okay. So, miscommunication and things like that, but I do still love Mamita's art, so I will look past the unfortunate nature of the curse for the 2nd volume of a BL one-shot. Hopefully it does not happen to... There was another series of hers that's getting this treatment. Oh yeah, the 10 Things I Want to Do Before I Turn 40 is apparently getting a sequel volume. Regardless, next we have the final volume of Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, Modazushi, Volume 13. And we are finally kind of getting a solidification of their relationship in this volume. I've heard that the novel gets more smutty, or more in-depth in their relationship, but we wrapped up all of the elements of the plot this volume in a pretty nice, tidy way. I do wonder if maybe I'll want to read the novel eventually. I just don't particularly like reading standard books. I usually like reading manga, manhwa, sometimes light novels, but who knows. Maybe I'll give it a shot at some point if I have the time, but overall it was a really enjoyable series, and I'm curious to check out some more manhwa, especially in the danmei subgenre. I think there's only one other one that I haven't picked up that's a manhwa, and it's canceled at like not too many volumes. Do forgive the shaking there. I just whacked the tripod thing. Still experimenting with the video, but hopefully the audio is a little bit better. Anyways, next we've got Volume 2 of Cupid is Struck by Lightning. And guess what? We have even more miscommunication and secondary love interest that might be a love interest, but probably isn't happening this volume. I enjoyed the series. I really just do wish this wasn't the trope for all of these sequel volumes to first volumes. But I guess it does explore other aspects of the relationship, so it's enjoyable in that sense. I'm also not flipping through this one because it's another mature release. Forgot to mention I'm on the 7 Cs now, in case you couldn't tell by looking. Then we've got the only oversized yen press I read, which I think is an I think it's Eyes Press. The Merman Trapped in My Lake, Volume 1 by Arpobi, Michu, and Chiparang. And it is a story about... Technically, it starts off with this girl and her hearing a story from a great-grandfather about the noble house that they used to be a part of. And then we kind of get a flashback for most of the volume about the girl that the main character is named after, Sir Vane, and her obsession with this mermaid that came to live in a tank in their castle, and how toxic her relationship with him is, and how it reflects how toxic her relationship with her family is because of her illness, of their power, and of just general corruption and not good people in their family. So it was a very enjoyable read, and I'm looking forward to the next volume, but I think this is on hiatus at like 50 chapters or something, so unfortunately it might be a while before we get anything past that point, but I did really enjoy this. Then we've got one Inklore release with Kingsmaker by Haga and Kang Xiong. This was a while between releases, so I wasn't too familiar with all the aspects of it. I did kind of pick up a little bit into it, but we are continuing... Sorry, I am getting a little acid reflux. Continuing the progression of trying to work up this prince to being a worthy person to inherit the title of king, and building the relationship between the main two characters, and also getting to explore more of the other princes that aren't the main character and seeing how they play off of each other. It's really enjoyable, and I hope that we're going to get the sequel licensed once this wraps up, and I think the next 1 or 2 volumes. Then we've got the 2 Kodama releases I read in this month. Oof. We've got Baki the Grappler 9 and Baki the Grappler 10. And let me make sure I have my understanding of these volumes correct. Yes, so I think both of these finish this small sub-arc of Baki going on this quest to fight these 5? Did they say how many? I think it's 5. Okay, they don't say the actual number of basically just the strongest soldiers in Japan and trying to learn from those fights. I don't want to flip through this again because this is hyper-violent, so it might not be appropriate for YouTube, but very, very enjoyable. It's always a fast read, and I do like, with these fights and the fights with the gorilla. I think he was a gorilla. No, he was a bear. I genuinely don't remember exactly what he was. He was a creature. I like how they kind of get to show us growth of Baki in a way that isn't just he had a tough fight so he got tougher. It kind of has some introspection to it as well, and really, really pushes him to the limits each time, which was really enjoyable. Then we had one oversized shoujo beat with Nana, Volume 3, and we are kind of exploring the relationship between, I don't remember their actual names, so I'll say black-haired Nana, and her ex / somebody she's having flings with. We get to see Nana exploring a new relationship that is yet again toxic as hell for her, because unfortunately this girl is cursed to be in toxic relationships her whole life. And we get to explore the other band that I don't remember the name of. Not Blast. What is it called? Trap Nest. We get to explore Trap Nest and its members, how they interact with Blast's members, and of course the relationship between Nana and the two other members of that band. Sorry, between Nana 1 and Nana 2 and the two other members of that band. Nana is not dating. Not one Nana is dating multiple members of the band. Then we've got Snowball Earth Volume 8, and let's see. Right. So a bit of a spoiler, but Tetsuo's father apparently did not die, so he gets to reunite with his father, and we get to see the fun dynamic between the two of them, and we also start, I think we actually start another fight, yeah. We start more fights this volume, and they're also trying to go invade this large complex of kaiju. I don't know if I should be flipping this far into the book. I don't really know the practice for it, but I did really enjoy this volume and enjoy Snowball Earth in general. I didn't mention this is starting the Shonen Jump oversized volumes. Next up, we've got Magilumie Volume 11, and another really big spoiler for this volume, so if you don't want to hear that, just skip the section where I'm talking about Magilumie. But as we last saw, this character was working with basically working against everybody in the original Magilumie group, and we learned this volume that he actually was playing a double agent, playing a double agent for the old boss, the one who wears the magical girl outfits. We learn that kind of like halfway through this volume, and then we learn some more information about the research that they were working on in this lab. Try not to get too specific about this, but again, I really enjoy Magilumie a lot more than I thought I would. Then we've got Kingdom Volume 4, and I believe this ends the fight with Shin, where is his last name? Oh, okay. It ends the fight with Xing Jiao. Let me just make sure. Oh yeah, I think it either ends at the very end of this volume, or it ends like most of the way through it, but we're wrapping up the arc with the false king on the throne, which is surprising because it seemed like that was going to be a lot more of a pivotal plot in this series, but it's ending on like the 5th volume. Still like 80 volumes. So, I mean, I know what's happening now currently because I just read volume 6, I believe, but it's still just wild how such a thing that was set up as such a big momentous plot point was just like quickly resolved. Then we've got Insomniacs After School 13 by Makoto Ojiro. I think we've got one more volume left of this. I don't remember a lot about this one. I think this one might have been a lot of pictures. Yeah, we get pictures of Reminiscence. We get to see them kind of in their last school year, just hanging out with their friends a little bit more, doing a couple things here and there. Not a lot substantial happened. Near the end, we kind of had more of a heart-to-heart between the two main characters about her terminal illness and how it's affecting the way she lives. But I did enjoy this series, and I think it's wrapping up very soon. Then we've got Hideyasumi Volume 8, and in this one we have a road trip that they go on. We have a romantic subplot happening. We have just a lot of character interactions this volume, and we also have a small segment focusing on the real estate girl and the minimalist that are like, we don't know if they're wanting to date. The minimalist, I think, wants to date her. She's not sure because she might also have feelings for, I almost said Keigo. That's not the main character's name. Hiroro. But we don't know for sure yet. But it is a fun slice of life. I definitely enjoy it. Then we've got one of two Viz hardcovers with Steel Ball Run, Volume 6. And I will need to just quickly flip through this to see exactly what happened in this volume. That's right. They were finishing the fight against Sandman, and moving on from there. I don't want to spoil too much. A lot of this was the fight against Sandman and trying to figure out how Johnny's ability can grow. Is his name Johnny? Yes, Johnny. How Johnny's ability can grow, how he can learn to harness the spin truly. Still really love JoJo, and I think this is a great part, even though, in my opinion, it's still not as good as Stone Ocean, but I know that's extremely contentious. Next, we've got Statues by Junji Ito. There were a couple stories in this I liked, but for the most part, it was a bit of a disappointing read. That's the thing. Like, a lot of Ito stories, I think, are very hit or miss for me. I think I might have also, like, seen some of these stories before. Maybe it was in the adapted version, like the anime, or if it was just something I read online. But not a fan of a lot of the short stories in this. A few of them are pretty good, though. I'd probably just recommend this if you enjoy Junji Ito and want to just see more of his work. Now for the 7 Seas releases, we have the first volume of They Are Still Being Shaken This Morning by Makoto Eijimasta. This is the creator of My Monster Secret, a Monster Girl series I really enjoyed when I was younger, and I still enjoy pretty well reading nowadays. But it is about these 2 high school students, both kind of shy, reserved, and then these 3 onlookers who take the same train as them, and they get to witness these high school students just being they're obviously both very much into each other and want to date each other, but they're both very shy and very cute about it. So they're over here acting as commentators by texting each other and trying to help these 2 be able to get together without any interruption, help them kind of realize their feelings for each other and have a happy relationship. So far, I assume it's probably going to stay this way. It's a very, very, like, pure thing. It's not anything sexual. It's just, these are high school students that are obviously acting cutesy towards each other, and they just want to see them happy and happy with each other, I think. But I did really enjoy this first volume. Then we've got Crossplay Love Otaku X Punk Volume 14. This volume we also we're inching closer towards these 2 realizing the other's identity as boys, and we are also getting, spoiler on this, Hana, I think her name's Hana. Yes. Hana is choosing to reveal herself. Actually, I don't know if it's Hana who does it. I know her coworker, she finds out, is actually a boy cross-dressing as a girl, and we get to learn the reason for that. But because of that, I think Hana had the courage to reveal herself as well. I don't remember if that's exactly what happened or not, but this is a fun, cute series, even if it does linger on the premise a little too long without them figuring out each other. Then we've got Volume 9 of Black Knight Beret by Hikaru Nakamura. In this volume, we have like this fight at the beginning where they're trying to grab this wrestling belt from this guy who is an ex-wrestler, and he is one of the reindeer as well. We finish that fight. I don't know how quickly it is. We have a couple more revelations about Miharu's dad and just the general plot. that I don't want to spoil. I think Black Knight Prey does really well if you go into it not knowing anything that's happening. But I did really enjoy that. Then we've got the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. I don't know if we... Yeah. This volume we introduce a new girlfriend who likes to act like she's a cat. And of course, because it's this series, it's not just like, oh, cutesy, she acts like a cat because she thinks it's cute. It's like, she acts like a cat because she has this repressed trauma, and she has to work through it, but she still wants to, like, act like a cat and do cat-like things. So it's got some good hidden depth to it. And of course, we also do get silly antics, as tends to be the trope with this series. When a new girl's introduced, we have all the group meet them, and then we have all of them just do something really stupid together. It's a really fun series. I'd recommend it to anybody who's fine with, like, morally questionable relationships if they're used for the sake of comedy, because, I mean, it's downright morally wrong, but it's this comedic spin on it with, like, some of these relationships. Like, it's fine if it's, like, him and these girls 1 or 2 years younger or older than him, but it's, like, one of them's a grandma, one of them's his cousin. It's like, ugh. But, yeah. It's kind of something you have to look past with this series, unfortunately. But, I mean, it's kind of a weird topic to talk about, because those are tropes that are seen in these harem romance sort of things, and they're just kind of exaggerating them to try and play it up for laughs. So it's a little bit of a gray area. Next up, we've got Trickster's Tale, Hu Yan Xuan by Hontoku. This is volume 2, and this is the only Sublime I read this month. Don't want to flip through this too much, because it is smut in some places, but we have continuing the main character's search for the reincarnated version of his lover from heaven. And then we also have another relationship forming that is not between him and the reincarnated form of his lover. It's something else that's happening. And I don't want to spoil that too much, but I do really enjoy this series. It's very weird, even if I did have a hard time following the plot. This volume especially, because it's just like all these characters I don't remember the names of. But yeah, it was really enjoyable. Then we've got the only Square Enix release I read, which was The Villainess's Guide to Not Falling in Love, Volume 5 by Toya and Yoimachi, with art by Rin Sakuma. In this volume, we are confronting the woman who stole her brother's powers. Everybody's meeting her, and they're beginning this fight where they're trying to get her brother's powers back and get, I think, the curse revoked on her. It definitely seems like the end of an arc, this volume. I don't know where it's going to go from here, but it was really enjoyable. Then we've got a J-Novel Club release with Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill, Volume 4 by Akagishi Kei, Reneguchi, and Masa. And this volume, they make karage. That's the only thing that happens, really. What actually happens is... Oh, yeah. Is this the volume where we meet her? No, I think we met the goddess last volume. But... Right, he has to start taking on quests this volume in order to keep his adventure membership, and in doing so, he's learning how to get stronger. Fell's definitely forcing him to do that, and Sui's also getting stronger on their own in a way a lot faster than anybody was expecting, so that's really fun. Next, we've got Volume 1 of The Betrayer's Love Song by Motatsu Tonoka. This is a series featuring focusing on this Italian mob family with two people competing to be like the new head of the family because the current head just retired. They represent two completely different factions of the family. One of them is somebody who wants only, I think it's pureblood Italians? Or are they these vampires? I don't remember. No, I don't think they're vampires. I I don't remember what the pure blood thing is. I think it's just their races or whatever. Oh gosh. But pure blood versus I'm fine with anybody joining. And we get to learn a secret about one of them. Is this one appropriate to flip through? It's mature, so I don't want to risk it. But it's a long read, very wordy, but it was really interesting to read, and I would probably recommend it to people who are into like mafioso stuff, especially mafioso BL. Then we've got another Mafia thing with Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun Volume 3, the Mafia edition by Hiroja, with the original series by Osamu Nishi. This volume we are meeting Ameri's counterpart in this world, seeing how she is different, what role she plays in this current world, and I think, actually, when do we meet her? Yeah, we meet her like right at the beginning because he runs into her when he's going to his old stomping ground. He ends up wanting to, I think they're trying to acquire this area, but other people are trying to acquire Mary's turf, so they're ending up having like a fight to figure out who Mary's going to be working under, because she's kind of developed her own like little gang of people who are watching over and defending the area. We also get to meet the weird, creepy, smiley guy from the main series this volume. I really enjoyed this spinoff, though. That was the only Kodansha standard size. Then we've got I'll Become a Villainess Who Goes Down in History. It seems turning into a highborn baddie makes the prince all the more love-struck by Akari Hoshi, Izumi Okido, and Jiun Hayase. And I think this volume is when she... Yes. I think this is when she... Oh, spoilers, I guess. I don't know. I guess that was the last volume. I thought that this volume was the one that she gave away her eye, but in this volume she's actually, I think it's her going back to school, reconnecting with the people in her class, and genuinely don't remember much else of what happened this volume. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really remember a lot that happened this volume. I do really enjoy the series. I think it's just completely escaped my memory. I mean, I guess we do have more of the development between her and her rival, well, she didn't initially see her as a rival, but the blonde-haired heroine, who is technically the rival to the villainess. But it's a really good series, just don't trust my memory on it, because my memory's terrible. Then we've got Reincarnated in a Mafia Dating Sim, a Yakuza heiress becomes the top-ranked villain's romantic target, Volume 3. We have a major incident that happens at this party the main character's attending. We're trying to figure out who caused the problem, what the problem was, and we get some more development between Leonardo and the main character, whose name is Francesca. That was way too exaggerated. Yeah, it's pretty good so far. I don't know if I said it was Soragoto and Toko Amikawa. The Toko Amikawa sounds familiar, but it's probably no thing. Then we've got Sumiki Ogami's Not So Ordinary Life, Volume 5 by Miyu Morishita. And this volume we are getting... The main characters are kind of trying to help with the student council this volume. We get to meet the succubus girl, who we learn a lot about, learn about her powers and her role in the school. And we get some more development between the two main characters, their romantic/friendly relationship with each other. And, of course, the trope that does happen sometimes, I've noticed with these succubi characters, is when they're paired up with somebody who's very nonchalant. And they're like, oh, he's the one person who doesn't find me super attractive or irresistible. I must have him. I must convince him to be mine. But it's a fun series. And that was the only Shonen Sunday. The rest are Shonen Jumps, starting with the big one, Komi Can't Communicate, Volume 37. This is the final volume of this series by Tomohito Oda. And Komi has graduated high school and finally gets her 100th friend. Not really anything too surprising with the ending, but just a lot of fun hijinks, including, I think it was this volume. They decided, oh, it's a final volume. Let's have a literal dick measuring contest between the men. They don't show anything, of course. It's still like a rated older teen, just rated teen series, but they're like, oh, let's say it in not so many words as what it actually is. But I really enjoyed this series, and I'm enjoying the series by his wife so far, Rainbows After Storms, and I hope that Oda does another series sometime soon. Next up, we've got Sakamoto Days, Volume 21. We are continuing the prison break. They finally reach down to the person they're trying to get to, and they run into a very dangerous person that they are starting to... Actually, they ran into it in the previous volume. They're working with this very dangerous person who is after their lives because he doesn't realize who they are. He's disguising himself as the psychic Shin is, that is. Because due to how Shin's ability works, it kind of makes sense for him to be like that. But it's very fun, dramatic, and I think it's a nice pickup from how slow the series has been. I never hear anybody talking about the prison arc being good, but I think it's a really interesting arc, and I like how it focuses on Shin and not on... It's Shin and I think somebody else with him. I feel bad for the... Pisuke. Shin and Pisuke and not anything on Sakamoto, so that's really cool. Next, we've got Ruri Dragon Volume 3, and in this volume, she's finding out about another one of her abilities, and also trying to get close with a classmate who kind of has shown a lot of distance from her. She's basically learning about her thunder ability, and learning about how her horns grow. Very fun read. Then we've got One Piece Volume 111. This volume, we are finally meeting Thor, and finally starting to explore the entirety of Wano. After a good amount of exploration of the world outside Wano, what everybody else is up to. But we actually start exploring Wano proper, I think, the next volume. We get a little bit of a exploration of it in this volume. Then we have Mission Yozakura Family Volume 21. We are continuing the twins' the twins' journey to get stamps from all of the members of the family. And this volume, they are trying to... this volume they're trying to get Shion and Kengo stamps. So they're going through a competition with them. The first bit of this volume kind of focuses on this classmate of theirs that is a huge fan of of their father, who is the main character of the series, and we get some cute antics with that. It's an interesting way to take this series, but we've kind of diverted from the main character being the main character being the person who he was, whose name I don't remember, to being these twins who are his children with his wife, whose name I don't remember. I'm so bad with names, y'all. But it's enjoyable and I like it so far. Not too much longer left in it. Then we've got Chainsaw Man Volume 20 by Tatsuki Fujimoto. This volume we are focusing a lot on the aging devil and Chainsaw Man getting trapped in this like purgatory area alongside War/Yoru, I think her name is, or is it Asa? Yeah, War and Asa. They get trapped in there not too long after their fight. I think they were fighting each other. Yes, they were fighting each other. And just War finding out War's connections and how powerful she really is. But the aging devil kind of just puts a stop to everything. And then we get to explore that for a while, so that's really cool. Lastly, the last thing I read in March was Akane Banashi Volume 15 by Yuki Suinaga and Takamasa Moe. I wonder if this is shaking because this table's touching that bookcase. I think that might have been what it was. Oh well. No, it's still shaking now. I'm not entirely sure. I wonder if maybe I need to anchor this somewhere else. Anyways, in this volume we are, let's see. Right. She gets assigned to a new master because her current master ends up going to the hospital. That doesn't really happen till the second half of the volume. We have a lot of backstory of the NGs. Whose backstory is this? I think it's Shiguma's backstory. Anyways, she's finally learning a big story from her master, and her master ends up getting sent to the hospital, where he learns that he's probably not going to be able to do Rakugo for a lot longer. I don't want to get into the details of it, but yeah, a lot of this is learning about a bit of the history of the rivalries, a bit of the history of the different people in the Rakugo community, alongside Akane trying to learn the story that her father told that got him expelled from his school. So very interesting. Really enjoyed this read, and I need to watch more of the Akane Banashi anime. I just realized I haven't been doing that. But that's everything I read this month, and I'll hopefully talk to y'all soon for everything that I picked up in April of 2026. So have a good one, guys.